All right, here from Tiger Stadium, Bryce Koon alongside Glen West. LSU big winners tonight over Grambling State, 72-10. Glen, 72-10 was the final, but it was kind of eerie there to kind of begin the game. Grambling State was able to get some things going offensively, which I think could be a concern now. They finished out the game well, but kind of talk about that first couple drives for the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, you head into a game like this and you just want to see perfection, right? You want to see them execute as well as they possibly could. Offensively, you couldn't have asked for much better results. I mean, 10 touchdowns and 10 drives. But the defense did have, some concerning moments. I thought really at all levels they kind of got hit, by a Grambling team they probably should have controlled a little bit better. I mean, whether it was missed tackles in the secondary and certainly with the linebackers as well. Up front with the run game, they just, their run fits were not great in this game. They were in a couple of bad packages on 3rd and long that kind of made them susceptible to longer run plays and weren't able to make the tackles there to kind of get them off the field. So, we talked with Brian Kelly after the game. It sounded like, they made those in-game adjustments and they felt comfortable with where they were at by the end of the game. But, you certainly would have liked to have seen, I think, the defense put up a little bit of a better performance in the first half. You give up, I think, 260, 270? In the first half. I mean, and when you got a tough SEC slate coming up like this, that's not very good. And you've got to get that corrected. You've got to make sure that you have your guys in the right positions. Look, they started Denver Harris tonight. He had some struggling moments. They started obviously Zai Alexander on the other side. He had a couple missed tackles, and I'm still a little concerned about the Harold Perkins role. I mean, they kind of changed things up even from last week a little bit, but he didn't have a huge effect at least in the first half. He had that one play really to kind of open up the game, and didn't really see much of him from that point on. So very curious to see how they kind of evolve the defense with him, his role. Mason Smith, still getting kind of back into it. Didn't see a whole lot of him until about the third quarter or so, where he had that tackle for loss. So I think you got to give this kind of an incomplete for the defense, and kind of hope that maybe they can get some stuff right for this Mississippi State game next week.
Yeah, we talked about Mississippi State next week. We're going to talk about that a lot, during the week next week over on the site. But it's going to pose a challenge for this team, especially with Will Rogers, a veteran quarterback, Jaquavius Marks, a good running back, and they've got a stable of solid receivers. Look, you give credit to Grambling State. They really came out and attacked, and I think that was something that this team needed to see. Continue to maybe put in a little bit of adversity again and see how they responded. Now, you talked about defensively. The run game for me was something that was a little concerning. Defensively, you turn it offensively, Logan Diggs. I mean, I think that we saw here tonight, Diggs is a guy that, has got to be a feature of this offense going forward. We talked with him, post-game. He was excited to be here. First time we've talked to him in an LSU uniform. What was kind of your take on the run game as a whole, Diggs, and that rotation they're kind of working out?
Yeah, I think if there was a winner tonight, it was Logan Diggs. I mean, I think he's probably your best option right now at running back. I think he gives you the most explosiveness at that position. I thought that they controlled the line of scrimmage tonight. They should have. They absolutely needed to do what they did tonight. And look, a good offense will do this. Like I still think this is a very good offense with a lot of potential and a lot of exciting pieces to utilize. 10 touchdowns and 10 drives is not easy to do, no matter how good of an offense you are, and no matter the opponent you're playing. So very impressive performance from the offense. As far as the run game goes, I think Diggs is kind of your guy. I mean, I think you can work in Josh Williams, you can work in Noah Kane, maybe Kevontre Bradford, John Emery in the passing game a little bit. Caleb Jackson gave you a couple touchdowns in the second half. Maybe he can carve out a little bit more of a role. But I think you got to lean into Logan Diggs here. I think he gave you something tonight that he'll be able to carry over into SEC play. And, the second part of this was the offensive line play. They were running to the right side, and it was something that I noticed pretty early on in the first half. They were not shy about running it to the right side there with Lance Hurd and Emory Jones and Miles Frazier, the guys that were kind of rotating in with the first team. Really liked that decision. Really liked giving that right side some confidence. And the other part of this was Lance Hurd. I thought he did a really nice job out there in his debut. You don't want to make too much of it as considering the opponent, but I do think LSU's in a really good spot here and kind of building some momentum, I think, offensively heading into next week.
Yeah, also talk about the receivers as well. Big night for Brian Thomas Jr. Needed to get back on the horse. Kyron Lacey made a couple nice grabs. And like you mentioned, the opponent not the most formidable, but you need to be able to do it in game reps. That's different than practice. And so for these guys to be able to kind of build some momentum was really nice in this game. game. But look,
Chris Hilton had some moments too.
Oh, Chris Hilton.
Chris
I mean, the
Hilton
pass right here,
yeah.
he caught right here behind us. We saw, and look, this is something you and I talked about. We were kind of disappointed, and the fans were as well, to not see the explosiveness. But taking the top off, that was something Chris Hilton did. But Kelly did talk about his ability to want to be a more complete receiver, and if they keep him healthy, is that one of the things you think this offense can continue to be more dynamic?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's a guy that has all the potential. I mean, he was a 5-star for a reason a couple of years ago, and he just has never been healthy since he got here. This is the longest stretch that I can remember since he got here that he's been healthy and that he's been putting in the work. And it really sounds like over the last couple of weeks he's addressed a lot of the issues that kind of had made him not available to LSU, and that he's in a lot better shape. He's just doing a lot of the right things right now, and I think he's a real weapon that they're going to be able to utilize in the passing game. I really believe in his ability, and I think he showed you a little bit of a taste of what he's capable of when he's given more of an expanded role.
LSU big winner tonight, 72-10 over Grambling State. They will head on the road to Starkville. We'll have all that coverage next weekend for you. Can't wait to open up SEC play against a formidable opponent, and it's going to be a fun one. LSU going to be put to the test against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Glen West, Bryce Koon, we'll catch you next time here on the Go 24/7 YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the site as well, or we'll see you then.